This series is about outstanding architecture from around America. From stunning residential to public spaces to commercial, this is an architectural deep dive to uncover the incredible stories behind each design. Welcome to America by Design. Our ByDESIGN industry experts have selected innovative, inspiring, and award-winning projects.
Good design, it's the culture, the identity of the people, the history. It's when you walk in and you get a feeling from the space. When I travel a bunch and you see the same design over and over, but when you walk into a space that really took the factors in mind of the people and the history of the city, I think that's what's good design to me.
Let's get started with our first project.
I know fire stations are all about getting the fire trucks out quickly, but what if great design made firefighters faster, safer, and better rested?
This is Nolensville's first career fire station. They transitioned with this building from a volunteer squad to a career squad. It's much larger than their former fire station because the town's growing. So this fire station is sized for current and future staffing. So the massing and the size gives them a 50-year lifespan.
Oh, that's wonderful. Right. Yeah. So I know this is a new building, but it has a real retro feel to it.
Yeah, so fire stations often respond to the areas that they're located. In this case, it's more of a light industrial area, flat roofs, masonry. So those are some of the things that we responded to architecturally. Long-lasting materials like brick, cast stone from Alley Cassidy, brick and stone, played into the nod back to the historic fire halls of the past, the arch doors, the red bifold doors. We're hearkening back to a historic firehouse.
This is the heart of the station. Tell me what you did design-wise about safety and speed.
Yeah, so for speed, we start off with looking at the actual building placement on the site. We like to have the bay doors as close to the main road as we can. The bay doors in the front are bifold doors that open 3 times quicker than the back doors, which are traditional roll-up doors. They're in a hurry to get out, not in a hurry to get back. From a safety perspective, the floors are always a big factor. Slips and falls are a big cause of accidents on the job. We've got these stone-hard epoxy flooring with an integrated grit to prevent slip resistance, but it also has the integrated striping, which helps aid in trucks coming into the bay or backing into the bay with the contrasting colors.
So I understand there's a lot of safety issues that are not really visible to me right now.
Yeah, we have the air exhaust system above that cleans the carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide out to reduce carcinogens in the building, because cancer is the #1 killer in the fire service right now. We also have a contamination corridor on this side of the building where they can strip down and go in the commercial laundry room and move on to the main shower or back to their locker. We have a fitness room for them to work out, because on the scene, heart attack is a real problem in the fire service, so we require them to work out an hour a day minimum. To utilize the maximum space, we had TMP draw the mezzanine up for storage, and we have a training prop built in where they can practice their rope rappelling, rescue, ladder work. No matter what the weather is outside, we continue to train inside for high angle or low angle rescue.
We keep this building staffed 24/7, so we have up to 6 paid career members here. And since we are a combination department, we have some volunteers that help supplement when they're needed as well.
And I know there's a lot of tornadoes in Middle Tennessee, so what do you do during an emergency?
So this building is the only town-owned building right now that happens to be operated by a generator that was provided through Thompson Energy Solutions. So even if all the power goes out in town, we're able to keep this building operating at full functionality. So we're able to set this room up as an emergency operations center and keep our calls being answered as they should.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure the citizens of Nolensville feel a lot safer with y'all here.
Absolutely. We have 10 bunk rooms in the back where we can staff for additional personnel, and if we go beyond that, we have these 3 additional Murphy beds in the back of this room. And just like that.
Well, that was easy. So what happens if the guy next to you is a big snorer?
Well, that's just one of the hazards we have to deal with.
We're in the bunk room corridor, so we have bunk rooms on the left and the restrooms are on the right.
You were telling me earlier about some healthy technology in the rooms.
So the call system for the fire station, there's heart-saving tones in the bunk rooms so that it doesn't trigger heart attacks. Then we also provide red lights in the corridors as well as the restrooms so that at night they aren't awakened by bright white lights. And then we've also provided kinetic flooring by J&J Flooring so that if anything accidentally spills, it's easily cleaned up or replaceable.
Well, I need that for my grandkids, don't I? I hear that firefighters are great cooks. I bet there's some good meals cooked in here.
They do. Firefighters are on shift for about 48 hours at a time. So this is the place where they're hanging out before a call and when they come back from a call. So we really want to make sure it's a good decompression space. But yeah, they definitely make a lot of good meals out of here, I'm sure. And we also love a really good red accent.
I love it on this chandelier too. That's so much fun. Well, I bet they spend a lot of time in here.
Yes, we have these lovely recliners, the TV. There's even a patio for them to hang out on as well.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think I'll try this out.
Sounds good, I'll join you.
From lightning fast doors to smarter places to recharge, this station shows that great design is not just nice to have, it's life-saving. Let's go.
There's big plans afoot here in San Francisco down at the waterfront. This is Pier 70, a massive industrial site with a rich manufacturing history. Many of these buildings have laid derelict for many years, but that's all changing. Take this one, for example, Building 12. It has quite the story to tell. Ariana, you were one of the lead architects on this marvelous adaptive reuse project.
That's right. It was an honor to get to go into this building and figure out how to translate it for its new use and the next generation of people.
But on day one of the whole project, you had a dilemma to overcome.
Given our proximity to the waterfront here, we needed to address sea level rise in some way. So we brought up the ground level up to the projected sea level rise datum, and you can see in this pit where the ground level used to be.
Oh, okay. This is where the original ground level was, and everything else has been built up since.
That's right. We're on built-up land right here. So if we were to bring ground level up 10 feet and leave Building 12 where it was originally, it would be 10 feet shorter than what it is today.
Stop. So you lifted up this whole old lady 10 feet.
Yeah.
She casually says.
No, I mean, it was no small feat. It was a massive undertaking that involved hundreds of people working together to make it happen.
Wow, I can't wait to see what you've done.
Yeah, let's go.
This whole crazy idea of lifting this whole darn thing up fell on your shoulders. So how do you get started?
Well, it all started in a locker room, and we were just brainstorming how are we going to do this. We say, well, we've lifted buildings a foot or two as part of a seismic retrofit.
Okay, because we're in earthquake country here.
So why not raise it more?
Why not keep going?
Why not?
That's the spirit.
Yeah, so from there, after Michael's team had a building design in place, it was on the contractor at that point in conjunction with the engineering team to figure out how to do it. We had to stabilize the building to make sure that it was sound during the lift. Basically, it's a bunch of hydraulic jacks that all communicate together. And from that point on, once we have the equipment installed, we start the lifting process.
How long did this take?
So we originally had hoped for about 7 days, but turned into more of a 7-week project.
Ariana, I bet this interior looked nothing like this when you came.
Not at all. This building was originally just a steel shed. It was corrugated siding, columns, trusses, that's it.
Not very romantic.
No,
not at all. We did so much work to the building and enlarged it by adding extra floors and extra mezzanines that actually triggered a seismic retrofit.
Oh no. Really, of course, because back in the day, they wouldn't have considered that at all.
No,
the
not
whole
at all.
Earthquake
No.
thing.
So we had to add braces and foundations to bring it up to the current seismic code.
Okay, so can I see that?
Not really. We did our best to hide as much of it as we could. A lot of it's carefully integrated into the existing architecture, but where we couldn't, they're painted red to accentuate them and show that they're a new addition.
Everything that we added was carefully considered. We had to look at it and decide, is this something that we want to call attention to, or is this something that we want to recede to the background? So the grand staircase and those brace frames, we decided to call attention to that.
That steel over there is original.
When we lifted the building, we did have to install temporary steel, and so if you look carefully across that row of columns, you can see a line where that steel was installed.
Yeah.
When we removed that steel, we saw that we had left this scar on the building and discussed what we would do with that scar. Cover it up, paint it, and we decided, no, let's just let that be. That's part of the new story of Building 12.
In another 100 years from now, they'll be talking about these crazies who lifted the building up.
Right.
Yeah, it's the next chapter in the building's history.
So who is here? Who are the tenants?
There's a great mix of local tenants. We've got a bakery, a brewery, and these pedal and pickleball courts.
They've been going all day.
Yes, and upstairs there's some maker spaces with ceramics and artists and some tech spaces.
Oh boy, so they're all tucked in the walls here.
I mean, Brookfield Properties has done a really great job of curating local, small makers and businesses for the space. So it's been really great to see that come to life.
Building 12 is one of a dozen or so historic buildings throughout Pier 70, but it really serves as the heart and soul of the pier and a living room, so to speak.
I think what's so special about this project is that not only do we get to celebrate, the new neighborhood, but there's also going to be like a brand new neighborhood that sort of comes up around this building, that's still yet to come. But I think that's what's really special about an urban environment when you get to see the old coexisting with the new. It sort of reminds us of who we were, who we are now, and sort of what is to become.
The team kind of play this whole thing down, but make no mistake, this was a monumental effort to raise and save this building. And as sea levels rise, it serves as a model for what there's going to be a lot more of as we preserve architecture along our waterfronts.
We're in Houston, a city known for its concrete and highways, and yet we're in this beautiful landscape with this private ravine that runs through the middle of the site. And that's why when our clients purchased this property, they were looking for an understanding of where to place their home so that it would honor this beautiful landscape feature.
Well, the interesting thing about this ravine, it was in really bad shape when we started, so we carefully reintroduced native species all the way up, including some of these palmettos, which were kind of very exotic and tropical. And we restored the ravine to be really a feature in the site. And the architects thought, well, let's make the entry experience a bridge, which is emblematic of the entire property.
So once you cross the bridge and enter into the home, you see the palette of materials that were carefully considered for this place. We wanted very durable, low maintenance materials for the harsh and humid climate of Houston. So we selected this smooth sawn Texas limestone as a base, and then a very light steel roof structure with natural wood ceiling paneling that's protected from the elements. For the 2-story volume that fronts the ravine, we selected this Steelscapes vintage colored metal siding that references the color of the pine bark of the trees on site, as well as the panel width corresponds to the width of the pine trees. So we really wanted to reference nature and the local site conditions in selecting and detailing the materials.
Well, I think these materials are very interesting in the way they integrate with the landscape. And there's 2 entrances. One is the formal entry for guests that may have never been here, and then an escape hatch to the backyard for the kids. There's a really fantastic fountain at the end of this walk. It's a beautiful black granite, which was provided to us by Stone Forest.
Let's go inside. So when you come into the home, the metal siding turns into walnut paneling and reveals this amazing, spectacular 25-foot high space. It's a wonderful living room. It has this bridge that extends across the room and provides a really dynamic viewpoint of the architecture, the landscape, and the art.
Our role was to capture the essence of what the owner wanted in terms of living, the comfort, the layering of your own home. The Caterina Grossa is one of the first pieces that we bought, and then the Allison Shots. It's an early Damien Hirst.
The furnishings are just as artful wonderful. Can you please tell us about that?
Some of the pieces are collector furniture art pieces. Others, the coffee table behind me, we designed. We also designed the dining table and the bench behind the sofa because we wanted them to be very quiet and very architectural and to really go with the architecture of the house.
So this is the kitchen, and it was designed with Bulltop kitchen system out of Germany. It's a very functional, large kitchen that fulfills the needs of cooking for both a family and for large groups. We also have really beautiful plumbing fixtures that were provided by Elegant Additions, and we selected this beautiful bronze paneling in the center of the kitchen for some visual interest. And there's even a little office space for how the owner wanted to live and use this main space of the house. When the owner has guests over, she actually didn't want them in this working space. So we have a surprise. These telescoping doors by Hayfula reveal a second kitchen for guests. And then this is Chris, our interior designer, who designed this space.
So despite the client's love of cooking and entertaining, they really wanted to have a space that was outside of the kitchen. And so we created this interesting table that has a bar and a location for putting out food. They have a media center engaged with this, as well as integrated refrigeration. This space is also really kind of a hub for the family. It is a kind of interchange between multiple spaces: the living room, the kitchen, the screened porch, and of course the dining courtyard outside. You know, much like the rest of the architecture that Vicki created, it was really a goal to have it very flowing and open. So unlike many primary bedrooms, the door opens and connects to the rest of the space, and then the walnut paneling continues through the space.
Usually I love an upstairs bedroom, but in this case, the downstairs bedroom works perfectly because of the ravine. You're still in the treetops. So from a furnishing standpoint, we really wanted to emphasize that and bring it in. So we actually created this chair, which is a walnut surround, much like the wood surrounds, and it brings the wood in. Then the glass table is dichroic glass. So it's actually colorless, but as the light hits it, it spawns different colors. So it's different day, night, winter, and summer, always bringing the outdoors in. So the bathroom is the ultimate retreat. And again, we wanted to bring the outdoor in. So with the round flowers, abstracted of course, but a reflection of nature.
And then of course, it's hard to miss the beautiful sculptural tub by Stone Forest. It is hand carved out of Carrara marble.
And I think what's so beautiful about the tub is the organic shape as a counterbalance to the rectilinear finishes. Also the really beautiful hardware from Elegant Additions.
So the house has a lot of sustainability features integrated into the architecture, including this large solar panel array over this south-facing porch, as well as an underground rainwater collection for landscape irrigation underneath the outdoor dining court, and a geothermal heating and cooling system that's in the ground under the motor court. What I love is that all of these active systems that are helping with conserving resources is very quiet and in the background. The integration of sustainability, architecture, art, and landscape coming together puts it in active dialogue with each other and just really elevates what a home can be.
This lucky Indianapolis community has a brand new library, one that is a great balance between functionality and design, serving the community beyond the books. It is my understanding that this is the first library of this community.
It is. When Indianapolis Public Library hired us, they already knew that they had underserved area within their service that they needed to address. And so it's a brand new building to serve this population here in West Perry.
The design is calm and it's distinct. Even upon my approach, I really immediately recognized it as a library.
I'm glad to hear you say that. We chose to do a simple rectangle with a simple structural form for cost effectiveness. And we introduced elements to bring a heightened level of design to this building. One element is the cell structure screen that is in front of the glazing that helps with the glare and the solar gain of the large expansive windows. So both aesthetic and functional.
So sustainability must be a really important part of your design process.
It was important to design a sustainable building. Building has highly efficient mechanical systems, and then there's also a solar cell array on the roof that is producing electricity that helps run this building and also provides energy back to the grid.
I really appreciate how the articulations from the exterior has manifested into the ceiling.
Yeah, one of our main objectives was really to bring the architecture and the interiors together so there's a seamless shift from the exterior to the interior. So you can see the folded planes in the ceiling that draws you deeper into the space, gives you a sense of welcome and intuitive finding of where you would like to go.
It really feels open, and I appreciate that I can see and have visual connections to all of the different spaces.
Yeah, so we did that intentionally. So we've kept all of the shelving low so that people can have a clear view of where they're headed within the library. So if they're coming in directly for the children's area or community meeting or to study with a friend, they can clearly see where they need to go. We've also carved in moments of different seating opportunities from Arcadia as well.
It's very different from the libraries that we're used to growing up. So how does technology play a role in this design?
The overall integration of technology helps the staff operate the building. One really great advance is the Linkso material handling systems that do all the sorting and checking in and allows staff to focus more on direct contact with their patrons. And the sorting machines get the material returned and back out to the customers, the next user that's looking for that material in a really efficient and quick way.
There's clear intentionality as it relates to these different pockets of space for community to happen. I myself am gravitating towards this wonderful fireplace.
Oh, well, it's definitely one of the more popular spots within the library.
It creates this really comfortable and inviting space, but also a level of privacy that's needed. So how did you navigate that dynamic?
So visibility, privacy, always very key topic within library design. So actually behind us here is the large meeting room. And so we have significant amount of glass. So we worked with decorative films to create this custom designed film that mitigates some of those views. We actually looked at other ways to incorporate levels of comfort. We've integrated an underfloor air distribution as well as a power distribution. So we worked with a company called Tate Access Floors and allowed that air circulation to occur below so that as the air comes up into the space, you're much more effectively creating a comfortable zone for people.
So the children's space is clearly the most liveliest of the rooms in the library.
Oh, that's definitely true. And that's not only about the generation that's using it, but the design choices that we make within the space. So all the colors in here, the patterns are a little more lively than what we see in the rest of the library, but still does have a connection with the design continuity.
Well, in addition to the playfulness, there's a lot of moments of nature that's still being told throughout the spaces.
Oh yeah, we did that on purpose. You'll see that in different interactive elements that the kids can play with. We have this great boat that kids can come and play around on. We also have a really direct connection to the exterior here as well through this door leads out to the outdoor reading space.
Well, I know all patrons of a library are really important, but children really are our future.
They are. Well, every library has the ability to touch everyone in the community from all ages. And being a sustainable building, we're really providing for a great future. And starting here at the children's area, we hope to interest children in becoming lifelong library users. And so having a building that is very sustainable and designed really well in terms of its welcome, comfort, sustainability, that will help that growth for very many years to come.
Through this project, we learned that a library could be fun, loud, and also creating offerings to the community. Libraries are vital to creating a space that's thriving and future-focused.
What happens when empty nesters trade the suburbs for the city? Here in Denver's LoHi neighborhood, this live-work loft blends home, studio, and city skylines into one bold architectural statement.
Becoming empty nesters meant just the two of us going on lots of date nights, working late. And so we thought this neighborhood was great, lots of fun restaurants we could walk to or go have a drink down this corner, go have a pizza down there. Just living the life of two empty nesters.
Brad, how does the building sit within the urban fabric of the neighborhood?
Well, the site context is super important. We bought a smaller urban lot, so we were able to go taller. It's a mixed-use zone. One thing we really liked about this block was the two-story brick buildings that are around. So we wanted that to influence as we started thinking about design for a relationship to that context.
We didn't want to be the eyesore on the block. We wanted to at least look like our neighbors from a material perspective and still finding a way to do something beautiful and goes more modern with Brad's style.
What influenced this curve on the front?
Well, the curve was actually driven by a site constraint, which is a 45-degree angle from the alley. Part of the curve challenge was understanding the materials that would be assigned to those curved pieces, because not all materials can bend the way we need them to. So Bighorn Metal did a fabulous job with what we call a shark fin profile for the metal, and you can start to see that it kind of juts out and steps back. The curves also help invite people in when they're moving along the wall, and so there's a lot of flow things that happen inside. We love the double height space. We had the height due to zoning because of the mixed use. What it does is it becomes the core of the space. So no matter where you're at in the project, you have this visual communication where you can go from upstairs to downstairs.
That's really a great chandelier.
We love this chandelier. It actually picks up on the grid of the city at 45 degrees and how it transitions to the block we have here.
I love that. And the curve of the wall really helps guide you around.
Well, as we started to work with the curves based on the site triangle we spoke about and the flow coming in, this wall and curve starts to bring you around into the kitchen.
So you really like hosting the public here?
We do First Fridays, which we invite the public in the first Friday of every month. People will come in, they'll meander around, but they always end up at the kitchen as a natural gathering spot with food and drink. We worked with our friends at Thurston Kitchen and Bath to lay out the kitchen. Our goal was simple. We wanted minimal clean cabinetry, which means really tight and clean lines. Check this out.
Now that's clever.
The concept with the stair was to divide this public space from the private space up above. So not only do we want to neck it down, but we like the idea of entering into the wall up high. So we purposely let the stair treads spill out onto the floor of the gathering area. And we had Ray from RD Enterprises help us craft the stair with the steel detailing. Now we're back on that core two-story volume. It helps us with dividing the private space and the public space. One of my favorite pieces is between the stair and this void. We kind of feel almost like a bridge-like structure as we head towards the office.
I see the curve brings us back to where we started.
Right, well, we are actually right above the front entry door, and we have this great picture window that was provided by Weather Shield, installed by Mountain View Window and Door, and it basically puts us back on the 45-degree grid that's aligned with the city. So now we have this wonderful framed view of the city beyond.
You really get a sense of shifting from work to living as you come upstairs. How is this space designed for you, Krista?
Well, transitioning to the empty nester lifestyle from our big house to a more urban city home, we still wanted the comforts of what you get in a large home in the suburbs. So we've got our two-story volume for entertaining. I still get my chef's kitchen. We still get everything we have in our big suburban home in this little space just for us.
I love it. And Brad, how does the geometry of the city connect with the loft?
Well, picking back up on the curve that we saw at the entry in the office down below, we're now reoriented to the grid of the city.
And this beautiful deck.
Well, we had to have an outdoor space, and given this urban lot and how tall it is, we don't really have a backyard. So this becomes our front yard, and it's a front yard to the city, to the street. We get to peek over if we want to see the hustle and bustle of the city. Otherwise, we can kind of sit back and just enjoy the view to the mountains, the south light, and to the city. At night, it's wonderful. The twinkling lights of the city, the hustle and bustle of the car lights. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I tell myself every day I could live here, and I do.
We hope you've enjoyed our look at some of the finest architectural designs from around America. Join us next time for more groundbreaking architecture on America by Design. For more information on any of the projects featured in this series, go to bydesign.global.